It's time to break down some football.
We got to get our mind right. Touchdown, win.
From the perspective of guys who played in the NFL.
Caught, touchdown!
And a guy who had one really great sack in high school.
Oh, you're so weak. You're a waste of my time.
Greg Camarillo and Marcus McNeil are the pros. And Scraby is the Joe.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Two pros and a Joe starts right now.
Use check was flexed out wide as a receiver and had a DB on him, which is an automatic. That's not the place to go. If it's a linebacker, you go with it. This motherfucker
is an athletic person.
I understand that, but not against a DB. Like that's an easy matchup. A DB wins that all day, and fucking Garoppolo snaps the ball and throws the ball to him, and it was incomplete. That's bad.
Well, his thumb was hurting, so so that's why he did that. But yeah, I mean, we're episode number 50, guys, and we're
the big 50
talking about
the nifty 50.
We're still talking about the 49ers loss to the Titans. And that's mainly just because Greg and I are 49er fans, and I try not to shoehorn the 49ers in there at all times, but it was a terrible loss. It wasn't as bad as the Chargers loss, but it was a terrible loss. Welcome to Two Pros and a Joe. Really appreciate Legadoo Nane for coming on episode 49. If you haven't heard that, make sure you go back and you listen to that. We talked about him playing with Cam Newton. Got his thoughts on Carson Wentz and whether or not vaccination is it makes you a bad, unvaccinated players makes you a bad teammate, all that good stuff. Episode 49. But in this episode, we're going to talk about what happened last night on Monday Night Football real quick, because it was rough. You know, actually, I should introduce us too. Greg Camarillo, he played in the NFL for 8 seasons. Marcus McNeil played in the NFL for 6 seasons with the Chargers at left tackle, and I had 1 sack in high school. I am Scraby. I thought about making a shirt that said 1 sack in high school, or I had 1 sack in high school.
Not make that shirt. Please do not make that shirt.
That would be hilarious.
It might be your Twitter headline. That would be cool. I'd be cool with that.
I had 1 sack in high school. But yeah, so Ian Book last night, the Saints, they were down 22 players to COVID on Monday Night Football playing the Dolphins. Dolphins win 20-3. Wasn't that close because Ian Book was just getting manhandled by everyone, and he was running into his own linemen, but that's not his fault. I mean, their offensive line was a bunch of practice squad players, and I want to know whether or not Ian Book's his performance or his opportunity is the word I'm looking for. Was it a good opportunity for him to make his NFL debut at quarterback with all of that? All the problems that are on the offensive line? Like, I would obviously want my pro debut at quarterback to be in ideal circumstances, but he looked terrible, and it's again not his fault. He just was overmatched by Brian Flores in a really good Miami Dolphins defense. So what do you guys think? As two guys that have played the game, Marcus, what do you think about Ian Book and last night? Was that a good opportunity for him?
Hey, I'm gonna tell you, like, one of the greatest songs of all time, baby. All you get is one shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, all you get is one shot sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And you got to make the most of it. You know, everybody would love to have that ideal situation, but at the end of the day, NFL is a lot about circumstances. You know, and
100%.
And like, kind of, you can't control your circumstances, so you have to do the best with whatever you're dealt, you know. So he was dealt a bad hand. Yes, he would love to have a nice, healthy offensive line to sit behind, but when you get in those situations, like, they're not always going to be ideal. So he ended up in a situation where it wasn't ideal, and they took the brunt of it.
All right, man. So this yes, 100%. Marcus is right. It's what's the Hamilton? I'm not throwing away my shot. Something like that. That he threw away his shot.
Bring up Broadway.
Yeah. Have you not seen Hamilton?
No, I haven't seen Hamilton, but I know
come on, man.
It is. I know
soundtrack.
It's actually a great play, though.
Yeah, go look how much money that Hamilton has made.
Oh, I'm not doubting that it's a good one, but
I mean, it's amazing.
Expected
it's great.
Us to talk Broadway, but go ahead.
It's a good point. Hey, 2 pros and a Joe, man. We're versatile.
The hip hop version is better too.
We're Renaissance
version. Hamilton is better.
All right, man. Outstanding opportunity for him. And I get it that the talent around him was a struggle bus as well. But they went Jameis Winston, fucking Taysom Hill, Trevor Siemian, and then Ian Book, which tells me they were not impressed. Like Legadoo told us in the last podcast, they see you every day. If they're that impressed with you, they're going to bump you up the depth chart.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and it's not saying he might go to have a good career, but right now he was not ready, and it showed. And it doesn't help when you're playing with backups everywhere.
And it's Monday Night Football.
And it's everybody is watching. You getting texts. Go out there and kill it, man. You're nervous as shit. Oh, man.
Go out there and kill it, man. And then
those are the best. Those are the best.
Throw is a pick six.
I wouldn't want my first start. I would not want my first start to be on Monday Night Football.
Can we just talk about them going 7, like losing the first 7 and then coming back and winning the next 7? Like that.
First team in NFL history to lose 7 in a row and win 7 in a row in the same season. They're in the playoffs now.
And they were talking about fire Brian Flores a month and a half ago, and now they're talking about
crazy,
which is nuts. I mean, that shit is amazing. That is Brian Flores keeping the culture steady through the highs and the lows. That is coaching. That's not Tua. That's not Jalen Waddle. That is the coach keeping the team on board through a shitstorm. And that shit's impressive. I don't think they'll make the playoffs, but I mean, more power to them for getting to where they are now.
It's like, but to be honest, between the two teams that I think can bust up the playoff situation in the AFC the most might actually be, to me, the Dolphins and also the Raiders. Those are two teams who
Raiders are still there.
Yeah,
I think Chargers, but go ahead.
But they're sitting right there on the cusp, and they've beaten some good teams this year. The Dolphins right now are running on a 7-game winning streak. This is the best time of the year to catch fire, you know what I'm saying, especially going into the playoffs. And like the Raiders just have been able to seem to deal some losses to some big-time teams. So those are two teams who I think that we scratched off the list, at least I did, like probably 3-4 weeks ago.
I did too, absolutely.
And now they're right back in it.
All right, so the Raiders, the 2 games they have left versus the Colts, sans potentially Carson Wentz, and then against the Chargers, which is a great Week 18 matchup because they both might be fighting for a spot. The Dolphins have a rougher road. They got the Titans, who are on absolute fire right now, and then the Patriots, who you're not sure what they'll be fighting for that last week, but they're a playoff team.
Yeah.
I think well, let's talk about the 2 teams with the win streak, because I was thinking about this on the drive on the way back home from work, and I made sure to put it pulled over, put it in our notes and everything, so I have to ask it. But which turnaround is more?
Need a little more excitement from you, Scrapes.
Come on.
Fuck, guys. I wrote it down, so I got to ask you a question.
No, I was just, in passing, just had to ask you. Episode number 50. I had to make sure I asked it because it was such a brilliant thought when I'm driving. It's like so weird. I'm driving, and that's where all my ideas come to me. It's really weird. But which turnaround to you is more impressive? The Chiefs winning 8 in a row, going from 3-4 to 11-4, or the Dolphins going from 1-7, winning 7 straight, and now sitting at 8-7? And I say the Dolphins, because they have less to work with, and they were already thrown on the trash heap before they started. Before they started the turnaround. And the Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes, they have Tyreek Hill, they have Travis Kelce, they have Andy Reid, all those guys. But I say the Dolphins. The fins up, baby.
I'm taking the Fins too. I'm taking the Fins, you know what I'm saying? And it's not just because Greg played for him.
There you go. I appreciate it.
But that did have a little bit of weight.
There you go. I'm with you guys, because we all expected the Chiefs to be really good. Like,
absolutely.
And then we were mad at them when they weren't really good. But the Dolphins, we didn't really have expectations like that. So for them to turn around, more impressive.
I think the Dolphins, all we thought about was Tua. Like, how's Tua going to be? Is he actually going to like pan out? So
yeah,
he makes some really nice throws. I gotta say, he's and Jalen Waddle looks like a superstar. I mean, the guy's going to should break Anquan Bolton's reception record as a rookie with 101. I think Waddle is at 96, and I love his touchdown dance, the little penguin waddling. I mean, that is just genius. That is just genius.
It's like the TY for T.Y. Hilton. Like when you can mix it into your name, that's outstanding.
Yeah.
So, about that, so I spoke to a Dolphins quarterback in the preseason who had been on other teams. It even been around Tom Brady, and said that Tua threw the best ball he had ever seen. That is not saying he's the best quarterback he's ever seen, but he just throws the best ball he'd ever seen, which says the potential, the ceiling is high.
That does tell me a lot, because I have noticed the improvement on Tua's accuracy from last year to this year, because I work with Chris Ello, who on 97.3 The Fan San Diego, who's a massive Dolphins fan, and all I wanted to do was just trash Tua because it hurt him, and I could see that it hurt him. And
wow, hurt people Scrapes.
And well, he trashes the 49ers all the time, so I took it out on Tua. But Tua, he throws a really good ball, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Tua can do. One thing that we didn't talk about in the AFC was the Buffalo Bills beating the Patriots. And here's a stat that is incredible that I never thought I would ever see, but that game was the first game that Bill Belichick, as a coach, was unable to force a punt in the game for the first time in his career. So the Buffalo Bills just completely annihilated the New England Patriots. If you can't even, the punter didn't even punt once. First time in Bill Belichick's coaching career.
It's a great job being a punter on a good team.
When you wrote that to me, Scrapes, like that blew my mind. Like, I didn't realize, I knew Bill Belichick was a defensive minded guru, but I didn't know he was shutting people down like that when it came time to lock the game up, So
yeah,
shout out to Bill Belichick, but I still love to see the Patriots lose. I absolutely love to watch the Bills take that game over.
Yeah.
And stuff them, you know what I'm saying? And
take a whooping like that when it's swapped first and second place in the division. So the only other time I've seen Bill Belichick like that is in 2008 when we busted out the Wildcat of the Dolphins team in New England.
The infamous.
He had no answer, and you could see like him flaming on the other sideline. It was magical.
I love it too. I love it too that he's the legend of the game. He's the coach goat, and he is like, his brain is exploding because he doesn't understand what's happening. Like, how often does that happen in that guy's brain? He's already like 17 steps ahead of us and way ahead of us. And that's
light years.
Still hilarious. If you go back to season 1, we talked to Ronnie Brown about that, actually, Auburn running back. If you go through our website, twoprosjoe.com, go to season 1, Ronnie Brown was on there a little bit earlier, and we talked about the infamous Wildcat Day. So you can go and listen to that.
Dig into the archives.
Into the archives we go. Another quarterback that had a massive day. Joe Burrow sets the franchise record for the Bengals of 525 yards passing. He beat Boomer Esiason at 522. T. Higgins, amazing. 12 catches, 194 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jamar Chase, 7 for 125. But really what I want to talk about is whether or not these Bengals are for real. We talked about that earlier this year. We all said that they were for real. They kind of dipped a little bit in the middle, but now they're starting to find their form at the end of the season. And Joe Burrow throwing for over 500 yards. It's just incredible what he was doing, because it was like every time he looked, another long bomb to someone.
Hey, man, Joe knows. They say Bo knows. Joe knows. You hear me? Like, the kid has a swagger about him that is ready for the stage. And I have, to the life of me, I didn't see Boomer Esiason play. So I never saw a quarterback in a Cincinnati Bengals jersey have that kind of swagger and demeanor. Even when they had the solid teams with Andy Dalton up there for a year, he didn't really have that take control type of swagger. No. But you see that swagger with Joe, and I think his team feeds off of it. I know Jamar Chase is feeding off of it, and he's having a monster year. Shout out to Jamar Chase. I actually saw his aunt at a wedding this past weekend. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
That is
family
cool.
connection.
Yeah,
so speaking of that connection, I can't tell you how valuable it is for a young quarterback to have drafted his college teammate, who is also a dominant receiver.
Oh yeah.
Like there's no there's no learning curve. I know you know me. Let's get to work. I know
exactly. Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow at LSU.
And they're both really good. So it's not like you're drafting somebody poor that lines up with it. They're putting together chemistry and talent immediately, which is awesome. And I mean, look, so you got in that division, the Ravens don't have a quarterback right now. That's a problem. The Steelers, we know how Scraby feels about Big Ben.
Yeah.
And
he's done. He's done.
And then the Browns are struggling too. The Bengals are that team. I mean, they're in first place of that division, but I think they're going to stay there.
Yeah, I do. Hey, to kind of speak on what you're saying, Greg, I like the duos and the tandems that they're bringing from college to the pros. And if we look across the league, it seems like most of them are working. Tua and Waddle.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got in Philly, you have
Devontae
and
Jalen Hurts, and then you have Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow up there. Yes. So why, if you have a dynamic quarterback and dynamic receivers, it's like, if I can bring that couple together, I think it's going to work. The other team that I think is going to have a good duo, even though it's not a wide receiver, is Jacksonville, because they bought in with Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, who's a great running back and a great receiving running back, but we didn't get a chance to see him because he was injured. So if those four can really go, I think this might actually make ways for teams to think about this down the line. Like, hey, this quarterback or this, had a couple receivers that we might want to pair them with in the league.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get them too.
Yeah, and you avoid a lot of drama that way too. You look at Russell Wilson and DK Metcalf beefing, right? Or well, I mean, at least what we hear in the media. But you can also see it though. Like you see it on the field. And you would avoid that if you got dudes that have good chemistry.
Oh, I'm assuming you guys can see Joe Burrow sitting in a Santa hat.
Yeah, look at that.
Okay, so you were talking about his swagger, Joe Burrow's swagger. Well, I guess Wink Martindale, the defensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens, he said, like, don't go handing Joe Burrow a gold jacket anytime soon, like kind of talking crap about him. Well, they asked him after the game about that whole thing, and here's what he said, and I think it proves his swagger.
Did you see the comments this week from Wink Martindale about not giving you a gold jacket just yet?
Yeah, I did.
Did that mean anything to you at all? Did it resonate with you at all?
I didn't think it was a necessary comment. I wouldn't say I was offended by it. I mean, I'm in year 2. Who knows what's going to happen down the road, but I didn't think it was a necessary comment.
Was it on your mind when you were throwing at the end for 525?
Maybe.
So I know it kind of was a lame lead up. I undersold that, but anyway, or oversold that. But you can see how Joe Burrow kind of operates. I mean, he took that, used it as a chip on his shoulder, and is able to use that for the rest of the time that they play the Ravens. They play the Ravens twice a year.
Bro, he just had on a Krusty Krab shirt with a Santa Claus hat.
Yeah.
Swagger is on 1,000. You hear me? Like, I don't even need.
You don't think I can pull that off?
Yeah.
Well, next week you got time.
Okay, all right. I'll find myself a Krusty Krab shirt. I'll find it.
All right, so a couple years ago, I would have told you that somebody saying that would make no difference, and then I watched that Jordan documentary, where if somebody like winked at him or maybe like took 2 steps in the wrong direction towards him, he was like, "Oh, fuck this dude. I'm about to go off for 65." And it made me realize that some people click differently. And it looks like that's what Joe was thinking the whole time. He was like, "No, I wasn't offended, but you know what? Fuck that guy. I'm gonna light his ass up."
I could totally see myself being pissed off and taking those words to heart and using that as fuel. But I wouldn't be like Michael Jordan and have a guy who like looked at me the wrong way and be like, "Oh, you suck. I'm gonna fucking murder you on the babasketball court tonight."
It was Jordans were the best. It was like, damn, he bounced that ball to me twice.
I don't know. Jordan is obviously one of the greatest athletes in all of the history of the world. But there's a screw loose up there. It was
a great screw loose. I appreciated it.
The ultimate competitor is Michael Jordan.
He is the ultimate competitor. So, real quick, let's go into the fuck. And I want to say that the New York Giants are going to do something that I think is the death of their franchise again.
They already
And
did.
that would be bringing back head coach Joe Judge and Daniel Jones, the quarterback. I don't have as much of a problem with Daniel Jones, but Joe Judge needs to go. He cannot sit there and tell the media anymore, my guys are giving effort. They did not give effort on Sunday. There was no effort. Jake Fromm may have had the worst start of all time at quarterback. It was horrific, but that's my defuck because the Giants are just going to continue to be a terrible franchise.
Yeah, and you know what's bad about it, Scrapes, is they literally can't do anything about it. They have $3.5 million in open cap space next year.
Oh yeah, you told us that.
Which means they got to just get rid of talent. Like they have nothing. They can't go sign. They can't get Russell Wilson. No room for that. Like there's just no space to make your team better, other than just bite the bullet for a couple years and get some draft picks.
How long do you think teams are going to put so much weight on the running back position? Because between the Giants and the Carolina Panthers, like they weigh so heavily on their running game that whenever these two go down, it's like the whole season goes to shit.
Yeah,
whole season, no chance. So even though I don't like Judge that much, and I don't think that Sam Darnold's that good of a court. I mean, my bad.
They're the same guy.
Same. Have we ever seen them two in the same room at the same time?
No, I haven't actually.
but Daniel Jones, I don't really think that they're that bad. I just really think that they rely so heavily on the run game that when it's not there, that they just look discombobulated and the whole team just goes to shit.
Jason Garrett got fired and it wasn't his fault because they got worse ever since he got fired.
I mean, what are they? 11-4 right now?
The New York Giants?
Oh no, sorry. I thought you were talking about with the Cowboys.
Oh, okay. No.
I was like, the Cowboys are doing all right. No.
Yeah, Cowboys are fine. They clinched a playoff spot. And but yeah, the New York Giants bring back Joe Judge and all that. I'm just terrible. They're like 3. I think they're 3 in whatever 12.
They're bad, really bad, and not
really bad. Better. What do you guys got for the fuck?
Who was the I don't know who the defensive lineman names were, but I give them on the fuck too. But the brawl that happened on the Washington football team's bench, like the fuck is going on there? You know what I'm saying? Like you can't go and put your finger right in the other man's face. But then the guy comes with an open, a closed hand punch and completely missed though.
Totally.
You know what I'm saying? But so
he did, but I think he was holding back.
This is a multi-layered one here.
It's like both of you guys are dead wrong. You know what I'm saying?
You know that they also played together at Alabama. Those two guys, Jonathan Allen and Darren Payne.
So to respond to Marcus, the overall theme, I have no problem with it. If dudes are going to fight on the sideline because they're pissed off because they're getting their ass kicked, I'm all right with that. But to agree with him, if you put your finger in my face like I'm a 5-year-old, like you deserve to get
swung on. Yeah, like it's
Do you think he missed on purpose? Like he wasn't really trying?
I do.
Was he really trying to hit his boy in the chin?
Hey, sometimes when you're in the heat of it, like you'll be surprised how many times you connect and miss now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think if he comes back with a second one, he connects, but standing up trying to get him the first time, I think he was just a little bit off. You know what I'm saying? But like you just can't do that on the football sideline. Not if for not any other reason, but for your job. You know what I'm saying? Like this is not the type of tape that you're trying to put out there, you know what I'm saying? Because
that's fair.
One thing that you don't want to see is like somebody who could possibly be a cancer to your team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially on prime time or especially on game day, you know?
Yeah, I like Ron Rivera's response the most. The media asked, did you see it? And he's like, no, I didn't see it. I'm not going to go look at it. Brothers fight amongst each other. They're fine.
That was a great response. I believe in that too. Like I felt that, like, you know what? They do fight. Sometimes things do get heated. You know, we just hope it wouldn't happen during the game.
That's a sign of a coach that has control of the locker room. Like it's fine. We're good.
He doesn't seem like a very like jokey guy. Like, hey, what's up, Ron? Let's tell a joke. He seems like a guy I would stand up straight and walk by. I'd be like, hello, sir. How are you today, Mr. Rivera?
Is that how you approach people's strategy? Like, hey man, hey Marcus, what's up? Let's tell jokes.
What's up, brah? What's up, brah? You know, slap some skin. Slap some
Oh
skin.
my goodness.
Slap some skin.
slap some
Whoa.
skin.
Yeah. Slap some skin. You know,
What?
like high five.
it's
Okay.
Okay.
I mean,
clean that up.
was that like
Scrape.
92? We took it back to you right there, Scrape.
I have one last the fuck. Whoa, that was weird.
That might be the best one. I like that one.
The
Scrape.
It's Odell Beckham Jr. And I haven't been a fan of his ever since he decided to cry his way out of the Cleveland Browns. Was that?
Hater.
I am a hater. I'm fully aware of this, but he actually had the record for the most receiving yards in the history of the NFL in his first 2 seasons in the league. And Justin Jefferson actually passed him while they were playing each other in Minnesota, the Rams and the Vikings. So what does Odell do? While Justin Jefferson overtakes his record, it was a 9-yard catch in the third quarter, and now Justin Jefferson had 2,755 yards. What did Odell do when he caught his touchdown? He did Justin Jefferson's touchdown dance. Dude, the guy passed you for your record. You know that, right? And you're going to be doing his touchdown dance? Like, what are we doing over here? I know your teammates from college, or you went to the same college, but you love each other.
They love each other.
Love. He was showing
it's
love.
Love. It's respect.
Love, great. That's love.
It's respect of one great passing another great, and it's like, hey man, I'm gonna honor you and do your dance. And I'm cool with that. I like that.
All right, fine. I'm in the minority here, but
you're by yourself here.
Yeah. What about this one? What about this one? Because I just thought of it. We were tweeting about
it. No.
Greg.
One more.
One for two tonight, guys. We get 1 for 2 tonight.
The 2-point conversion dance. Is it a touchdown dance worthy, or is
absolutely.
it just,
absolutely 100%?
2-point is like a dumbed down and lamer version of a touchdown dance because
dance it away. If you catch,
I was watching the 2-point conversion. The guy does like his little like Irish jig or whatever.
Do it,
and I'm like, it's a 2-point conversion.
He called the gritty the Irish jig.
No.
Tell me you're white without telling me you're white.
I don't even know where the gritty came from.
Come on. Oh, I don't know that either. I just know what it's called.
Yeah.
All right. Story time. In college, I had 0 touchdowns. I don't admit that openly. Well, I just did. I had 0 touchdowns. I did catch 1 2-point conversion. I have no stat.
This is where it stems from.
You don't even get a stat for that. Like, you don't even get a catch for it.
That is a new.
You
don't get love for it. I don't think you get a catch for it.
It has to go on Greg's new intro. All right. When you give his bio, it has to go.
I had 1 sack in college, and Greg had 0 touchdowns.
And Greg had 1 2-point conversion in college.
You didn't get a stat that said like 2 p.m.
I don't even think you get at least I'm gonna have to double check that.
A 2-point
dance, man. Give me shit. You don't get love. Dance. Get your love.
Well, now I know where this is all coming from.
Yeah, it's absolutely. It's a sore spot in my life.
How honestly, how did you make the NFL? And I'm not trying to be a jokester, but
that's
like,
fair.
Wow, damn.
I'm not. I'm honestly.
So when I scored my first touchdown in the pros, they were like, "Is it true that you haven't scored since high school?" I was like, "Shh."
Don't tell anybody.
I was a long shot, Scrapes. I never started in college. Well, I technically played the first snap of one game for a punishment for our starting guy for being a dick. But I never technically started in college. I was always like a third or fourth receiver. And then I got a shot to play in the NFL and I made the most of it. But I improved each year. Like my first year in the NFL, I was not good enough to be out there playing like Ian Book. But it just took me time to develop and build my skills. Plus, I was never the fastest guy, and I was never I'm 6'2" with cleats on, so I wasn't like a big red zone target, and I wasn't gonna run 80 yards to get my own touchdown. So and then I dropped one. I dropped 1 touchdown.
Yo, you
in college?
Sorry to admit that to you, gentlemen. I dropped the only ball that I was throwing in the end zone. I dropped it.
Hey, the way to be a big man about that, Greg. Don't hide away from it. But that kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier with Nene on the last episode when I'm like, stuff is football is situational. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like you have to end up in the right situation
100%.
to be able to play. Like I've seen so many guys who actually I felt like could have played on the next level, but they just go and end up in a situation where they never get a chance to shine. So when you get that one shot, you have to grasp it and take advantage of it. And then do what Greg says. You have to get better. You can't stay the same. You got to constantly get better.
Look at oh shit. I'm totally blanking on damn, I had a great example of a guy who'd been cut a bunch of times on a bunch of different teams.
Josh Johnson?
Oh no, he's been on a million teams.
But he shows up. Plays well.
I respect to that dude, because that quarterback is the hardest position to just show up and play. And that dude shows up and plays.
He does. He does. It's like while you think of that, it's like when I was thinking about with Ian Book and how I can relate it to radio and everything. And in the beginning, I had no reps on the air or anything like that. And I would get that opportunity and I would think about it. I would just like go over it in my head a million times, have a game plan for it. And I would get that opportunity and I would just do as well as I could. And each time you get that opportunity, that's all you could do is just keep getting better and take it seriously and show up, be there and do things right. And it'll all work out for you. That's how people ask me about radio. How do you get on the air? You just got to put in the work and you have to make the efforts to be there. No one's just going to call you. You're going to have to be in their head.
Way to make the most out of your situations, Gray. That's what I'm talking about.
The more you know. Dun, 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 dun.
I love the glow too, Gray. You're glowing tonight. I love it.
Oh yeah, there's a light that's like right in my face. It's a new area, and I do look kind of ghostly and ghastly, like I'm half dead or something. But anyway, episode number 50. Appreciate everyone. This is our last episode of 2021. And
say it with some passion. Say it with some passion. Episode.
This is our last 50. Episode, guys.
Episode 50, baby. Wrapping up 2021.
The nifty 50.
The nifty 50 in 2021. And I appreciate all of the people that are listening to our podcast. Really do love the reviews that you've been giving on Apple Podcasts. Make sure you tell your friends, rate and subscribe. Also on Apple Podcasts, make sure you rate us and leave a review as well. 2 Pros and a Joe, 2prosandAjoe.com. Things are just going to get even better for us. We're getting better with age. We're like, I think Marcus has said it before, we're like a fine wine. But it takes everyone out there that's helping us get to where we need to go. So appreciate all of you. And yeah.
A good Napa Valley cab.
You know, when I was a drinker, I used to go to the store and I used to get like the barefoot because it was like $4.99.
$4.99. Come on now, that's the college stuff right there.
Oh yeah. I'd just drink the whole bottle. I'd be like, it only cost me $4.99, baby. I don't have to worry about my wallet. I got this barefoot.
Oh, damn.
or Estrella.
Attaboy, Scrapes.
All right, we love your sobriety.
Right, 2prosandAjoe.com. Episode number 50. Thank you so much.